Hello and good morning. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. I am looking forward to kicking off a new project. So in the previous streams, we were able to sort of figure out a lot of the technologies that we want to work on. That's going to be integrated into the first version of the Brooks Builds platform, as I'm calling it. I don't really have a better title for it. That's kind of what it's going to be. I usually just sort of like name things what they are, as opposed to like giving them clever, interesting names. So, to begin with, I guess we're gonna set up. Well, I have a couple things here. So, first of all, I have set up. What is it called? Where's my? Oh, there it is. I need to sign in. Hi, Zilby. Hi. You have one more toy. Do you want this toy? Working title. Hello, stacking. Yeah, that all of my projects would end up being called that. That's probably would not be the best. All right, so I have. Ooh, yeah, I did actually create this here. So, one thing I wanted to do while building this out is take the time to build a sort of architecture map for all the technologies that we're using. And this would be for like inside of the app, and then also deployment wise. So architecture is such an interesting name, because like people use it for both deployment, as in, okay, the architecture, we're going to have a database here, we're going to have communication pathways using HTTP, we're going to use, let's see, personally I use Pulumi, but some people might use what is the other one, Terraform or something like that to set up and like deploy all of our things and get our cloud infrastructure properly working. And then inside the app, there's also like the technologies that we're working in there too. So I created this last night. I found a bunch of icons, and we'll be pulling these out and sort of like building this out as we go along. So this is my freehand, a brand new freehand for this. It's completely empty, which is why it zoomed in on this. I like freehand because it's infinite size. So I'm interested in how complex this is going to be. We've seen those type of maps before, especially though those ones are like, oh, to be a front end dev in 2022, here's like a map of all the technologies you need to learn. I sometimes do wonder how much of that is just being made up, and just sort of like, oh man, those technologies are good to know, as opposed to, okay, an actual full project requires these technologies, like no skimping. Like these are not optional, and they're all in this one project, and you can see them. All of it, everything. I should just like download all of creates.io and just like this, just learn this, and then all of AWS, just like learn it all, including the one that allows you to control satellites. Really important, right? Okay, so I've got this to begin with, and then I want GitHub. I am logged in. Excellent. Did I create schizophrenic dev? Hello and good morning. I am doing good today. All right, so first of all, I've had like a few false starts with this website. I'm gonna be doing this as like a Brooks Builds platform now. That's sort of like I realized that the reason I was having so much trouble building it is because I didn't really know what I wanted there. Now I kind of do. So I'm gonna go ahead and archive this right now. I think sometime in the future I'll probably deal with like delete all of the archive things. Yes, I know. And how are you doing today, schizophrenic developer? Okay, so we have that. We're gonna have like I'm gonna call it a Brooks Builds platform, which we don't have right now. So new repository under Brooks Builds. This is gonna be the Brooks Builds form. So platform for I guess like content created by Brooks, or I guess we'll just do that. You're happy to learn CSS today and JavaScript. Awesome. Are you doing like a specific project for that, or is it just sort of general learning? You want to build a Shopify theme and sell it for 10K. Well, I mean, I've never done that before, so I have no idea what the going rate for the Shopify themes are. Created by Brooks and a viewer by like you. Yeah. Okay, so no. Interesting that that it's now defaulting to private. It used to default to public once upon a time. I wonder if it's because I'm in an org. Sure, we can add a read. Do I want to be? I want this to be empty. Choose a license. I don't know if I need to have a license and everything else in there. I think I can just create it like this and we can add the license later. Okay, so SSH. Shopify themes are in high demand and people are willing to pay a lot of money for a good theme. Interesting, okay. Yeah, I've never really had the design chops to like create something like that. But at the same time, whenever I look through themes, none of them ever really pull at me. I guess like I always want something more customized than what I see in them. So if you could find one that like people actually want and use, that's probably like that'll probably be good then. All right, so we're gonna go code builds. We're gonna do a clone this thing. I know it's an empty repo, but it's fine. Yes, I'm aware. I cloned an empty repo. Okay, so the big thing here is we start all projects with a hello world, right? And I'm really adamant that like deployment and like dev setup start from the beginning. So I'm gonna want to get like testing set up. I'm gonna want to get up like deployed to like maybe a dev environment and a production environment. I think that'll be important. I mean, it would be nice if we could start at the end. That's true. That's true. Like, imagine if you could just like create a montage moment in your life. So like, just everything happens, but only like 10 seconds pass. Like, we create like a thread to like another universe. So this is like in the case that we are really in a like simulated universe, that's like my first like request feature. Can we just create threads to like allow ourselves to do multiple things at the same time? Okay, so I'm gonna use Pulumi. I think it's Pulumi new. Oh, don't have Pulumi. Hold on. I need to create that. So if you haven't, if you don't know what Pulumi is a infrastructure as code system. I actually like it a lot. It's it allows you to use one of several different languages that they support. Rust is not yet one of those languages, so we are probably going to use TypeScript for this. However, in the future, if they do support Rust, I will definitely jump over to that. So I need to install it. Which is just through homebrew as Pulumi. Okay, that's what I wanted to verify. Chiroptical raiding with a party of 4. Welcome, 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 Chiroptical. Good morning. How are you doing today? And how was your stream? What were we working on? Stream is going okay. Learning how to use Tailwind with Elm. Oh, nice. I have not used either of those technologies, but I've heard good things about both of them. We are kicking off a new project today. So this is the brand new beginning of the Brooks Builds platform, which is basically going to be a website where you can go to get connected with all the content that I'm creating. All right, so I did a brew update, and so now it's time for a brew, let's see, brew install. Really? That's interesting, Schizophrenic. So in the past, people also thought that I looked like Jack Black. And besides that, I've never really had like any doppelgangers. All right, so we have this. Then I want to, down here, I'm going to do a Pulumi. Let's see it. Do I need to do a login down here? I think I do. Pulumi login. Okay, so, or hit enter to open my browser. All right, so I'm logged in to there, which means that we can come back here now and say, did I finish the node to Rust? Oh, also hello Banzi. Did I finish the node to Rust? I did I finished the introduction to yew.rs. Is that the one you were thinking of? Young me looked hella weird. Oh, are you talking about like the videos from like several years ago? I was a lot heavier then too. I'm still overweight, but I'm not nearly as much. I've lost, what is it, 60 pounds or so over a long time. I know, and like the hair is getting all gray. It's interesting. My family does have a history of hair getting gray early, so, and also like I think part of it is the lights. It's not quite as gray in darker light. But that's neither here nor there. All right, so we're gonna do a Pulumi new. Yes, okay, fine. A Pulumi new. Was it dash force? And we're gonna use AWS TypeScript. Project name. Okay, this is the Brooks Builds platform. a description. So let's see, platform for all of Brooks's content. Okay, so stack name, we're going to start with dev as the stack name. Where are we going to deploy this? Probably US East 1. I know that US East 1, so that's Virginia. It has the most features because it's also the oldest. Everything new in AWS goes into there first. It also, being the oldest and the place where they put all the new features in, tends to go down the most too. That being said, it's fine. We'll go there. Just rock around with a key light and look good all the times. Cosmetic industries need to step up their game. Yeah, imagine if I can like oh man, like change like the light. So like instead of white light coming in, we'll make it like brown light, but then somehow tell the camera to like compensate for that. Maybe that will work out. Okay, and then we're gonna go open up code. So what Pulumi sets up for us is this index.ts, and the idea is that Pulumi goes into the base of the project like this, and then other things go inside of that. This is going to be for the front end side of the platform. We might have like an API, and I think we're going to put that into the database layer when we need it. But we're going to follow supple design for this. But all right, we've already brought in a second technology, which means we need to update this map. So we have our US front end, which we haven't even started yet. I need Pulumi. I have the icon there. Oh, it's an SVG. SVGs aren't compatible with freehand though, unfortunately. Well, you know what I can do? I can screenshot it. Yes, I know. No, thank you. Where do you put it? There you are. Okay, so I'll put Pulumi here like this. I'll group them together. And so this is going to sort of like handle our deployments. It's going to like make sure that we're deploying to dev and to production automatically in GitHub Actions once we set that up. Now, Pulumi itself wants to like just show off, hey, we're creating a brand new bucket. We're going to go ahead and delete that boilerplate code. And we're just not going to worry about this right now. We'll deal with this later. Now the actual app itself is going to go into a subdirectory inside of this. So if I create, actually we're going to put that in here. So we'll do a cargo new to create the actual platform, like the actual yew app, which I guess we'll call, it could be just like web app in there. Yeah, I think web app would be good. I'm gonna do a, first of all, rest up update. No updates. Cargo new, call this web app. So here this is. We have our nice source. We have our cargo toml. Everything is looking good here. We're gonna bring in we're going to bring in yew and create our hello world. I'm going to just start off with a slightly better architecture. So I'm going to go into lib.rs. Now I'm wondering, in something like React or Angular or anything else, you'd have like a main.js, and then you have your app.whatever, app.js, app.view, app.ng, or whatever that one is called. And those would be separate files. And I kind of wonder if I want to do the same thing here, where the lib is like starting up the project and getting things going. So we'd have something like a hub function run here. And then that way, any environment variables or a config we can pass in here. I don't think there's anything that we can cause to fail here. Rust Analyzer, you're upset. Is this because you're not the root of the project? Oh, is it because I need a... Failed to load workspace, failed to read cargo metadata from the root of... Oh, no, from cargo to toml. Failed to parse. Okay, so... Oh, yes. Kind of need to give it a version. Okay, so if I were to do something like this, then inside a source here, we'd have another file which we would name app.rs. So we'd have a It's a little bit suspicious, and I'm not getting type. Oh, not suspicious. Need to mod it. Somebody asked this in the Discord. It was like, hey, I'm not getting like type help. And we're like, oh yeah, you need to mod that. You need to mod the file so it knows that it exists. Otherwise, like Rust Analyzer doesn't give you anything. Okay, so we're gonna do a mod app. There we go. Okay, so we brought in prelude. We're gonna do a function component. Let's see. So this is going to be inside of the body, just basically the main app, as it were, but maybe not main, so to say. So we're probably just going to do like divs. But we can put just like an H1 with our hello world inside. Because why not? Then in the main library, we're going to pull that in. So use, I guess, app. Oh, and then also use start app, I believe. I don't think it can return a result, so that's just a thing. I already have trunk set up and installed, so that's a thing. I should just be able to get this going. Oh, almost get it going. We need to down here create an index HTML file. Don't they want you to use render function or something since start app is a dead API and will break? Wait, is that true? I'm just going based on memory, so I may have that wrong. Let's go find out what the real one is. Okay, so in the 19 docs we have now our sample app uses start app here. That's where I got that from. Maybe. Where else would they have like be like the beginning and starting? Oh, I wonder if that would be in their API docs. So like start app. I don't see anything here for that. Starts a U app mounted to the body of the document, alias to start up, and element body. Let's see. How about we go to next? So, okay, getting started. Aha, okay, so it's in next. The call to yew render app new render inside the main function starts your application and mounts it to the page's body tag. If you would like to start your application with any dynamic properties, you can instead use yew render app with props render. Okay, so does that work with a 19 project? So yew render app new.render. Okay, so new render. So you. Nope, not even in. Okay, so this isn't even in 19 right now. It's only in next. So render doesn't exist unless it's behind a feature flag. Yeah, not here. Only in 19. Okay, good to know. This will have to change in the next version. So we're building this in 19. The main reason I'm using like 19 for this instead of next, first of all, we don't have like a knowledge about when next is going to be downloaded. And then when I eventually, when that comes out and I create like a 20 tutorial, we can use this as a how to migrate over to 20. Because that will be a thing too. All right, so we have you're starting up here. We have our index to HTML. Do that. Let's go ahead and do a trunk serve. I'm in the wrong folder. I need to put this index to HTML inside of there. They might just be hinting at the 19 docs at one time, like, hey, just so you know, this won't work in the future, then removed it. Yeah, it feels strange to hint at something that's going to be removed, but then not actually have the thing to replace it with available. It would be nice if they could say like, okay, deprecated, but use this thing now. Like, but if you can't use it now, it's just going to cause fear. Yeah, like fear that nothing's ready to use. Okay, so we have yew running. This is on port 8080. We're going to use our other Firefox for this. I am not seeing any errors. Inspector-wise, I am also not seeing a hello world. So that's a thing. Let's find out what's going on here. So we have our library, which starts app. Oh, you know what would be really helpful? That I'm actually kind of surprised that trunk worked. Start app isn't running because in main we're just doing a hello world, so we need to use the Brooks builds platform. Wait, are you? Maybe you can auto figure it out for me. So I want run. Okay, fine. You can't figure it out. I've made that public, right? I did. Does that work? Not here, but I might need to restart trunk. Oh no, you're unhappy. Okay, so use the undeclared crate or module. Wait, isn't that the name of mine? Did I misspell my crate? Oh yeah, it's called web app. Of course. That should make that happy. And here we go. Here is our hello world. Now, I often program using like super zoomed in things, so this is going to be really interesting to try to make this not look terrible at normal zoom length, as opposed to like, hey, it's zoomed in for all of you. Also, I'm using dark mode a lot, and having sort of like a native dark mode might be good for this. What do you think? Should I give like an option for dark mode, or should it just be, hey, everybody's dark mode? Like that's it. Like everything, you know, you get dark mode. I guess out of curiosity. Let's see, can I do a? They give me access to like a poll. I do. Okay, so poll. Okay, how do I use this? Or we could follow the system dark mode. Ooh. I didn't check to see if like how to grab that. That could be interesting. Dark mode, light mode. Oh, okay, never mind. Question. Do you use dark mode or light mode? Dark, light. Yes. I could charge bits per vote? No. We'll do a 2-minute survey for this. Okay, so poll for that. I'm just sort of curious what your thoughts are for that, and what you're actually using. The yes obviously is just both of them, and so you like go back and forth, and you want both. I suppose I could have done a neither option. You just don't use any GUI. Okay, so we have our hello world here. This is all running. We're all good. Now, for a dev environment, I want to be able to spin this up, run the app. Okay, running the app locally here is going to be fine. I think, let's see, is there anything else I need to do to get this working? We're going to want Cypress tests to set that up. So I'm thinking this is going to be outside of web app here. Out here is where we're going to do sort of like Cypress for testing purposes. So that's where this package JSON comes in. So folder, route one, and we're going to do a npm install Cypress. Okay, then we should be able to do an npx poll ended yes was 1. Okay, so 100% of people polled it was yes, as in both dark mode and light mode. So we should support both of them. Okay, good to know. Well, first ad, hello. Good morning. So we're gonna do npm Hoon God's holy name uses the light mode. 100% of my viewers apparently. You voted yes because you have macros to change for the time of day. I'm actually using my system thing goes like light mode to dark mode from sunrise to sunset. It's like I actually do the same thing where I have like light mode on then dark mode. It allows, like I do find that there's some things that it's easier to read in light mode than in dark mode. But I'm also lazy and sometimes I don't want to like turn down the brightness of my monitor and then turn it back up again at night. So we'll see. Okay, so npx Cypress open here, and we're gonna get this going. You'll override if you deem fit. Well, yeah, and I want this to like have options for that. So we're gonna have to add in the ability to do light mode and dark mode, which is gonna be interesting because that's gonna be a thing. Okay, so this is what I get going here now, which a bunch of these sort of random tests that are created. So we have this Cypress directory integration, and I can just delete these two folders because I do not need their help. I wanted integration, and then inside of there, we're gonna have I'm just gonna call this Canary for right now. So this should find Canary. Also, in Cypress to JSON, we need to tell it exactly where to go, which is a base URL is HTTP localhost 8080. I'm going to use Electron for this, just so it's easier for me to find where the which browser I'm using for Cypress testing. That being said, Firefox is supported. I don't even have Chrome installed on this computer. Otherwise, it would actually be listed. But you can have automated tested now on Firefox, both versions of it. So dev mode, normal Firefox. I think nightly if you have that installed. Chrome, Chromium. Safari is not an option. And Edge if you have that. So a good number of them. Bolfer said, your Sudoku CLI tool is coming along nicely. Nice. That is excellent to hear. All right, so if I open you up, here is our testing browser. And so I can actually put this over on the left because I'm blocking like nothing there. All right, so what I want to do is open up our Canary spec, and we're going to start writing things. So we're going to have a describe, and I guess this is going to be like Canary test. I'm using the word canary here as in canary in the coal mine. If I can get these tests to work properly, then things are working well. If this like hello world test does not work, then clearly there's a problem and it's not the app, it's the testing code setup that I've done. So want to make sure that things are actually working properly. So I usually like include one of these at the beginning of every project, and then they get deleted later if we can recreate it later if like we run into any weirdness. So we're gonna have an it should work. And we're gonna do a sci visit to slash. That's all this test is gonna do. And so here we go. We got our hello world loaded up there. I do not know how to force Cypress to have a dark mode, so sorry. That's gonna be a light mode there. That will be obviously a reason why we should have a dark mode installed and set up on here. Okay, so this will just sort of sit down and work on this. We're gonna do a lot of test-driven development for this, just to like make sure that things are working out the way we want them to, and we don't get any regression bugs. Okay, so now we've added another technology again. We've added Cypress. So let's go find. A WebP image? Never heard of that. Is that really your logo? Oh, your logo. Okay, your logo is that circle with a sigh in it, which I have. Okay, I'm gonna take a screenshot of the icon in the dock. Oh no. Did I lose it? Wait, paste the command. Oh yeah, I lost. Okay. Screenshot again. All right, so we have basically these things sort of like in here. Cypress is going to be obviously testing our Vue.js front end. Our Pulumi is going to be deploying this. I'm probably okay with not doing arrows on these, just sort of like linking them up. And we can easily sort of like change them around and the arrows sort of figure out where they are. So we'll have optimal placements for them later. Okay, so we have now Cypress running. I guess like for you to front end, we have trunk too. trunk is not really anything special. It's just the icon is just Ferris. So I guess we'll just skip an icon for this. All right, so this essentially would be development purposes. So we have Cypress that's testing our front end. Trunk is like actually serving it up, and Pulumi is going to be our deployment strategy. So I'm going to need a dev and a production sort of deployment here. The way I'm thinking about it is I'm going to use AWS S3. Is that actually where I want to go? Perhaps like dev? I could put dev onto... I'm now thinking like, do I want to just use GitHub Actions and put something on there? For like the dev version? Maybe. With GitHub Actions, though, that'd be something like the beta. Like, hey, this is like the beta or like the dev stuff. If you want to like take a look at what we have here, and then S3 would be where it goes for reals. That's It is good though to have a dev version that I can spin up. I've heard some people create entire copies of their infrastructure on each pull request, like different versions of that. That way they can do complete and total integration testing across everything and have it work. We could also potentially do that. It gets more complicated the more time goes on, but it's possible. It's definitely possible. If I skip a dev and I go straight to like just, hey, we have a production, which would be more trunk-based development, then that's not too terrible. So we would start getting our deployment set up now. So we want to deploy our Hello World app out. We can do that first without automating it. I mean, automating it. We're still going to automate it with Pulumi, but we're not going to have GitHub Actions automatically deploy it maybe. So that would be back to our index.ts here, so TypeScript. All right, so how would this work? We want to put our code into an S3 bucket and then set up CloudFront to deploy that out. Pulumi has some instructions for how to do that. So if we do a CloudFront, yeah, here it is. Serving a static website on AWS. This is from 2018, but I don't know if it's changed that much. Maybe some of the commands have changed. I actually think that, let's actually go back to our docs. We go down to, user guides. I think the way that I find the guides usually is this way. We're going to go to the API to AWS Classic. Oh, it does not like dark mode here. Then here we're going to, okay, now we can search for how-to guides. Let's see. So I want S3 static website. Is this going to use CloudFront? No, because it's a web. Okay. Hold on. Let's go back. We're gonna go in here. We're gonna look for CloudFront. You're gonna think CloudFront has an API. You'll have to set that up manually anyway. I've actually have done this for my my day job once, so it was a little while ago now. So it actually, like, Pulumi can control this. It's interesting. So here's the CloudFront of how we're gonna do this. We're gonna create a new distribution, I believe is what it's called. Example usage to, this is all setting it up. So if we take a look here, example usage, we're going to create a new S3 bucket, create an ACL for that bucket, make it a private. I don't know S3 origin ID. Okay. Create a new CloudFront distribution. We give it an origin, domain name. Set that up. And then sort of like go from there. And like set all of these things up for it to configure it. I did realize they tried to set you up with the most expensive version, of course, you know, when you set these up, so you have to be careful about that. So there is also, oh, there's an entire example. Where are those? Yes, they have the source code. In examples, there is a CloudFront somewhere. Of course not. Where did I find that? So I found this one when I did my day job one, and it's sort of like where did they go? It must have been one of the how-to guides. So I want like an S3 static website, but I don't want it to be just a normal S3 static website. I want an S3 static website with CloudFront. Oh, maybe what it was like I want a secure CloudFront. Secure static website using Amazon S3, CloudFront, Route 53, and Certificate Manager. There we go. This might be it. This is no date from it, but they have some like general information. I think I missed the see, I missed the TypeScript one last time I did this. I had to look through the Python version to sort of like figure out what they were doing. We can go and view the code. So they have their examples. This is Pulumi examples, AWS TS static website. Oh, perfect name for this. And we can go in, and here is all the Pulumi stuff that they're doing. So they're getting their config out. They're grabbing their information from config. So Pulumi does allow us to sort of like store config variables. We can also store secure ones, which is in the repo, but they're also encrypted. So I'm of two feelings for that. Like I feel okay, but also not okay at the same time. They're encrypted, so that should be okay, but it would be best not to have them at all in GitHub. and just use secrets. So there's this. Okay, so content buck. Okay, so when looking through this, we're getting the config. We'll grab this if we really need to. The first thing they're going to do is create a brand new S3 bucket. So I'm going to put this over on my left. And so creating a brand new bucket. Okay, so const, I guess this is going to be our like code bucket. Equals new hits. The name here for Pulumi always seems to be just what's the display of it. It doesn't, this is not the name of the bucket itself. So this is going to be like code S3 bucket. And now these args are important here. So if I want to go and look at how this works, I need to reopen up another Pulumi. Oh, why can't I? Oh. There it is. Okay, API reference, core providers, you. They do not like being really zoomed in. We're gonna go to S3. Go. Bucket. They have like a bunch of sort of like examples here, but the real key documentation, and these are all the languages that they support. So TypeScript, Python, Go, C#, Java, and YAML. I'm looking forward to the day they decide that Rust is a good option for this. Okay, so we have our name. That's the only thing that's required. Args, not required apparently. And then down here, these are what those args are. So acceleration status. I think like the default is okay with a lot of these. Now, okay, ACL. So the canned ACLs to apply valid values are private, public read write, AWS exec read, authenticator read, and log delivery write. Defaults to private. Okay, that should be fine. These next to each other. This we notice. Oh, they don't have defaults. They're going with private here. The ARN of the bucket will be a format. Okay, so I don't have a bucket already that I'm doing, so I'm creating a brand new one. The name of the bucket, if omitted, this provider will assign a random unique name, which is not what I want. I want to actually name this so I can find it later. So bucket, it's a string here, so we can name this, I guess like Brooks builds platform front end must be lowercase and less than or equal to 63 characters in length. How am I doing here? Oh, I don't have any. I guess this will yell at me if I'm over 63 characters. I think I also want to put in like the stack name on this. So if it's like a production, maybe if I don't put a stack name on it, this is production. That might be my sort of naming convention. Bucket prefix creates a unique bucket name beginning with the specified prefix. Conflicts with bucket. Must be lowercase and less than or equal to 37 characters in length. That could be interesting too. And then it's going to give a random sort of like thing afterwards. Cores rules. Actually, I kind of like maybe bucket prefix better. Course rules. I don't think I need to set those up. Force destroy. I'm not doing that. Okay, so ACL grants if I need them. Hosted zone ID. So looking back through here, we have the bucket for the name, and then website. Is these bucket website args, which then if we just scroll down enough, we'll find those bucket website args down here. Okay, course rule, bucket grant. I should have just clicked on it. There's so many excellent types. Wolfie Dev, hello. It's been a while. How are you doing? Okay, bucket website. So they add this in. So configure S3 to serve bucket contents as a website. This way S3 will automatically convert results for foo/to/foo/index.html. Okay, that's good. We are just beginning a brand new project. It's going to be a Brooks Builds platform. So basically connecting with everybody on connecting with all my content, essentially. I'll have to override the error one or it will break you. Yeah, that's true. I'll have to override the error document. That's a really good point. Now the way this is going to work is that CloudFront is going to send us to that one. So either I create a different, like just an actual static document, and that's it. Like that's what it was. Or just send them both the index. That might be a good idea. Send them both the index. Yeah, let's try that. So if I do, we're gonna do a website, and this is an object, and so we'll have our index document is gonna be index.html. Now, if I come here, I'm gonna stop. Oh no, that was Cypress. Well, it was awesome seeing you. So hello, and maybe we'll see you again. Stop trunk. I'm gonna do a trunk build and release mode. Thank you. Yeah, totally understand. You may or may not be back, but until next time, maybe. At the least, have a great rest of your day. Okay, so we built these, and these are going to go into a dist folder, which we can now see is in here. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. Web app dist. Here we can see index.html. So we're going to have to copy all of these up here. So we have our index document is index.html, and an error document, which we can also have as index.html. We're going to find out whether or not that works for us. Supercuber, hello. You like to replace "Have a nice day" with "Enjoy your next 24 hours." Yeah, that could be good too. It feels longer though. It's not. I don't guess. I guess I've never used that, so it doesn't feel natural. The other one is like really easy to say. But I can see that. Like enjoy your next day or two or three. Slightly more ominous. That is true. It feels sort of like a little bit different. All right, so we do this one. Now, if I just run Pulumi, so if I save you, and I'm over here, and I run a Pulumi up, well, besides the fact that it's now behind me. Failed. What happened here? Class extends, value undefined is not a constructor or null. Why did you fail? Class extends value undefined. Are you going to tell me exactly why? So I did new bucket like this. I'm in the root of the directory, so that should work. Do I have like an actual stack trace to like my code? Not really. It just filled with an unhandled exception. So what did I do wrong? Okay, so we have a bucket from AWS S3. Okay, so that's fine. Do I have to remove all these? Save. We have a bucket prefix. We have a website. You're not yelling at me for not doing this correctly. It's probably still going to error because I didn't really change anything. I just removed the unused code. Yeah. Class extends value undefined is not a constructor or null. Okay, so bucket must not be a constructor here. So hold on, let's try this. If I do new, what is it? Oh, what are these different symbols? There's this bucket. There's several different buckets. Maybe I pulled the wrong one. That's the same one, isn't it? Yeah, that's the same one. Oh, do I need to pull in? AWS S3 bucket. Okay, so AWS here. Let's try just doing it this way. AWS S3 bucket. That's everything looks relatively the same. Is it taking longer this time? I feel like it's taking longer. Okay, there we go. Error. Unable to discover AWS. Oh, yeah. So I need to set up my AWS CLI so that way it can actually do all the stuff for me behind the scenes. Yeah. So I need to install AWS. It actually tells me where to go for that. I have an account on AWS. I just haven't set up the CLI on this computer yet. So I can create my account. Do I need to also install the CLI? Probably. Oh yeah, option 1, use the CLI. Option 2, create by hand. Install the whole of AWS on my machine. Yeah, that should be easy, right? That should not be a problem. All right, so let's do AWS CLI. Oh, nope, stop. Okay. AWS Shell. Command line program that provides convenience and... I mean, this will be pretty amazing because AWS commands, if none of you have ever used AWS commands, there are very long and like impossible to like see, like 30 characters like per command. It's pretty crazy. Flint Rusty, hello, hello. Okay, this is great, but I want to actually install it, please. What's the... Do you have a brew link that you would recommend? I think Brew has it. Do I have to full screen this to actually see? Am I in 1 or 2? Linux, okay, Mac. Do I really have to? No, come on. You put a, somebody put it on Brew, I'm sure. Okay, fine. I'm gonna search for Brew. I think it's like AWS CLI. Have I seen warp.dev? So I signed up for warp beta, and they said they've sent some email messages, yeah, every once in a while. It looks pretty cool. I haven't, but I haven't like actually used it yet, and I didn't get in access to the private dev, or yeah, private beta. It seems like, yeah, it does sound like it's going to be pretty good. So if AWS Shell, that's that new one. AWS CLI, I think, is the one we're talking about. So if we do a brew info AWS CLI, that is, okay, so it's coming from Homebrew itself. It's the official Amazon command line interface from that. Okay. Oh, is it fully released now? Ooh, we're going to have to take a look at it. Brew install. Yes, CLI. We want version 2. Yeah, so I'll have to add that into my list. I have a backlog of things to do. Once we have, let's see, the sort of order that we're going to be doing things in is, oh, Zilby's not here. The order we're going to be doing things in is building this platform. Then after building this platform, we're going to be building a probably the next course, which is going to be an introduction to Axum. And then sort of like we'll go from there and see what we feel like. Technical question 2 minutes ago from Flint Rusty. If you have 2 offers from an outsourcing company and 1 from a product company, which offer would you choose and why? So it sort of like depends. There's a lot of things to sort of like decide from there, and there's gonna be 2 very different working cultures. So where are you in life right now? Like what do you want to be doing? Are you do you want to do more like outsourcing type work, or do you want to work for like a single company and just a single product? Some people call like those outsourcing agencies or anything else like resume fodder, because it you generally work on tons of different technologies, new projects all the time. You never get bored. But at the same time, you might never get really deep into a project. You might just be building like the same, like, you know, the beginning of a project over and over and over again, and therefore you never get that deep experience of what it takes to maintain something that you've built. Outsourcing doesn't mean project change all the time. Well, okay, that's true. The ones I worked at, it did mean that, but yeah, that's absolutely true. You should always be switching companies. You always add to your resume and then move on. That's true. Like switching companies like every 2 to 3 years is usually the norm. If you don't, it's usually because your company is allowing you to equivalently switch roles or change things up internally. So it's sort of like changing roles but without leaving a company, which like is I don't know why companies wouldn't do that. Like that's literally the best thing they could possibly do. Also, they should keep your wages up with, you know, everything else too. That's kind of important. So I don't really have a good answer for this. It's like gonna depend upon what you really want to be doing right now. The end result is if you choose one, you probably don't have that. The other offers, they're just gonna find somebody else, so you're not gonna be able to go back with them. But it doesn't mean you're stuck with whoever you choose with forever. You know, if you just absolutely hate them, you can always quit and find another job, and you just basically don't even mention that you work for them ever. And it's like wipe the slate clean, try again. So there is that. But I don't know if I can actually help you decide which one. I would need a lot more information about your situation and the companies to sort of help. And it would mostly be by asking a lot of questions. So I suppose if you want to join our Discord, I can just pepper you with questions just like asynchronously over the day to like tease out the information and hopefully allow you to like get the context you need to make that decision. What's the problem with staying with the company for 5+ years? So Stacking, I would love to hear your answer, but my answer is it depends. If you do the same thing at a company for 5 years in a row, that's a sign of a lack of growth and stagnation. That's very dangerous because that means that it's going to be very hard for you to prove that you're you've actually grown as a developer and you can handle more things and like you're better. If, however, you have stayed with the company for 5 years, but your roles have changed, you've like grown from junior to mid and mid to senior, and go from there, then you're fine. Like this is great. Or maybe you're like, hey, I was a developer for a while, but then I went into DevOps and started working on that. Then I went into security, and you know that's all great. That's essentially no longer staying at a company. That's like different companies, even though it's technically the same person signing your bills. If they allow for growth, then it's fine. But let's be honest, in most jobs you get pigeonholed. That is very true. That is very true. Most companies don't know how to actually. Most companies don't care to keep employees. They treat employees like widgets, and then just sort of discard them or like treat them as if they're expendable when we're not. We're very expensive to replace. And it would be good for us to realize that, and it would be good for companies to realize that too. You move from dev to QE. It's much easier to get a higher percent pay increase when getting hired again versus asking for a raise. That's true. Absolutely true. Which is, again, stupid. Like, companies should realize that, like, if you're hiring somebody at this rate, just pay the person you already have that rate and you won't have to hire somebody. In your company, you see people staying for 7+ years. If you're seeing them stay for 7+ years because they're constantly changing and growing and getting better, that's really great. That's like you have an amazing culture. If they're staying for that way because they can hide and they just get a lot of money, but they don't like actually have to grow and do better or provide more value, then that's a bad sign. you might need to worry about leaving, because if people up high are not changing, then that's really dangerous. Canary consider moving from QE to a manager role, but there aren't as many companies recruiting for management as there are for QA and QE. So something that's might be good to know is that if you've just been like a manager for a little bit of time and you're also like it's a first time management, it's not going to affect your ability to go back to an engineer in a future role. So if you take a promotion to management, you are fine as long as you don't like continue down the management track. Okay, so take me for example. I am a manager and a team lead. I still do engineering, and I obviously do this show where I do programming. I can prove that I can still program, and if I really want to, I can go back to just being a pure senior dev. That would be fine. If I continue down the management path and eventually become, I don't know, department level, manager, president, vice president, CTO, like if I go down that path, eventually I do lose the ability to convince people that I know how to program. Even if I have a show like this, they just won't believe it at all, and they'll just say like, hey, look, this is now who you are. You've identified as this manager. But right away, you won't have that problem. So hopefully, Flint, Rusty, I was able to help you kind of, sort of. Let's see, there's that. Now it's 8:22. My alarm's been buzzing in my wrist for a couple minutes now. I have a meeting at 8:30, which means I have to do an emergency stream shutdown. So let me first commit all 1,000 plus. That looks like it's gonna be a thing here. So I want get ignore, Cypress JSON, index TS. I think I'm going to do this later and figure out which things I need to add in to my get ignore. So Russ Jr., hello, and goodbye. Thank you. Hopefully you all have a great rest of your 24 hours. Yeah, I don't say it very well. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time to continue with this project. So with that, have a great day and see you next time. Bye.